Good day, folks. This is just a progress report on some of the things I've been up to. Yeah, it's a fucking bomb site right now. This here is the top of my cooker, would you believe? Yeah, he lives like an animal. Well, here, I'm not going to make any comment on that. Right, yeah, what have I been up to? I've been cleaning rust, basically. A lot of this tools I got the other day, the box off junk. Most of it was junk, but there's one or two items that I'd spotted in the photos which I was interested in. There was a small ball peen hammer which I'm needing a new handle for, so I'm currently looking into getting a new handle for that. There was a sort of medium-sized ball peen. Now, I've already got ball peen hammers, I don't really need any more. This size in particular isn't on my wants list at all, but in looking at it, you know, it's obviously the hammer's, the neck of the hammer has been damaged quite severely. It's cracked and broken, so it needs a new handle. But as I'm slowly collecting tools for my toolkit and hammers and chisels and all else, I'm starting to see the differences in them. And if you'll notice, this one is much more elongated on the head of the hammer than the ball peen. It's offset, you know, and I don't know the reason for that, but that'll be for a specific function, I would assume. So I've been cleaning that up. I've still got to do a bit of cleaning in there yet. That's one thing. The other was this here. This is a handle for something, and I'm a bit dubious now, but I thought that this handle might be repurposed for my engineer's vice. Now I don't have the actual spindle of the engineer's vice down here. It's currently up in the garage, but and it's a square drive, yeah. So I was thinking if it's doable, I could make a damn it, what's the fucking word? An adapter to fit inside here, and then have the square drive inside that. But I don't think there's going to be a lot of room for that. And another concern is that this casting is quite narrow, and I think you'd just end up breaking that, to be honest with you. Generally you tighten these vices up by hand, and then give it the handle a couple of smacks with a hammer just to nip it up, and I think that would just burst out, you know. The next items, there was this large chisel here. I've removed the handle because it had a worm in it, and it's been chucked. I had a small a short go at taking the rust off it, and most of the rust, well, I say the rust, all this blackness is rust, but it's kind of in the surface of the metal, so you'll never get that out. I had a little go at polishing the bevel on the chisel, and that the metal is good. Yeah, there's some decent metal in there, I can tell, just from the way the grinder was sliding on the metal. Yeah, that is hard metal, and steel rather. Yeah, so that will grind up, although it's going to take some time. You can see from the chips that's in it. They must have been hitting nails or some damn thing with it over time, but that will take a fine edge, that, and I'll need a new handle for it. But that'll be I was about to say a nice addition to the toolkit. I'll never really use this. This is really too big for my purposes, but it's something I lack, so I thought, well, it'll be there if I need it, you know. Now we've got a slightly smaller one here. Again, it was well rusted up. I've taken the worst of the rust off again. It's still black. It's quite pitted here, and I don't know if you'll see that in the camera, but I don't know if that's the normal profile, but it seems that the metal here has kind of been eaten away more than if you had just a straight taper coming down to the point, yeah? So the metal's kind of dished here. Now that will have weakened it, but as long as that chisel point is sharp, that will cut wood no bother. You know, there's enough meat in that left that you'll still make a reasonable chisel out of it. Unfortunately, the backside has been corroded as well, and there is some fairly deep pit in there. Now that means that this will never be a fine chisel. You really want a nice flat ground polished surface on the back here, so that you can get a very nice edge. With these pits, as the edge is worn away and reground, you'll have undulations in your blade profile, okay? So that means that this chisel will never be any good for fine work. But look at it, eh? This is a thing for thumping through large timbers. It'll make large, you know, joints in, you know, joists or some sort of timber framing. It was never intended for fine work anyway, so I'm not worried about that. It's just there for doing some of the brute work on mortise and tenons, I'd think, yeah. So that's a nice little find. That I like that. You know, I don't know what that'd be new, but I'd imagine you'd be like 10-20 quid, maybe more. I don't know. Again, I got a couple of these little countersink augers for a brace. Cleaned them up a little bit. I've still got to clean the heads up, but you know, that'll get thrown in a box of bits. This was another thing I spotted. I needed a monkey wrench, mold grips rather. I used to have mold grips, but they've gone walkies in one of the workshops I worked in. So this is a replacement. There's no brand name on it, so yeah. But these things, you know, they do what's on the box, yeah. You know, they're just grips basically. You know, this one, I've never actually noticed this, but there is actually a little chisel point in there for cutting stuff, maybe wire on it. Taiwanese bush saw. I've started cleaning that up a little bit. Couple of monkey wrenches over here. This one, you know, as you can see, I've given it a bit of a, not polish, but I've taken a lot of the rust off it. Haven't gotten into all the little nooks and crannies yet, but it is a foreign one. We have here, I don't know if you'll pick it out in the camera, it says Stihl 10-inch foreign in small letters underneath. So, you know, it's got 10 cast into the body there, and it's drop forged steel with 10 written on the side of the handle there. And at a glance, they look practically identical, yeah. You've got the same spring clip here, same spring clip there on both of them. But this one's Chatwin, made in England. I don't know the age of it, so just because it's made in England doesn't mean it's good. But when Sheffield had a monopoly on the ore coming in from, was it Sweden or somewhere like that, they were producing some fine steel. When you compare the head, or the main jaw, you can see that the other one does have a slightly lighter construction, yeah. Very, very similar in a lot of ways, but there is, that one actually looks a bit thicker in the body. I'd need to measure that actually. This one looks a bit thicker in the body than the Chatwin does. I'd say that's definitely narrower. But the head has certainly got a reduced mass. So they've really beefed up the head on the Chatwin. But they might have done, they might have just been more clever with it on this foreign one, because they've got the corner here reinforced with that sort of raised circular area, and they've put in a bit more mass into the threads. But having said that, now these things get beasted the whole time, yeah. They really are just a rough tool. But if you look at the condition of the jaws, you can see that the foreign one does have more wear on the left hand side jaw there. Yeah, I don't know. I'll try and point it out. I can't. Right, okay. I'll do it one at a time. This is the Chatwin. The jaws look almost like new. There's maybe a little bit of rounding on the top of the teeth here, just on that edge. This one, there's a lot more damage, Now that might be just down to harder use or more prolonged use. I don't know the age of these items. But that's certainly showing more wear. Let's see. That's the foreign one, and that's the Chatwin one. Okay. Now the other thing is the Chatwin knurled adjustment wheel. Yeah, it's got very little wear on it, but it seems to be I don't know. It's like a die cast material, which is not very reassuring at all. Just trying to clean it up with a wire wheel has taken the tips off of this knurling, which seems a bit shoddy. And I don't think this one's made of anything better. The knurling's a little bit finer, but you can see here the edge has got a ragged edge on it, like it's been beveled over or bailed over, so that just sort of indicates that the material is too soft for its purpose, and I don't like that. This stuff's the same. I think it's this very similar material. It's quite light, doesn't have any mass in it. So you're much as such, really. One thing I did like about the foreign one, I noticed, is they've got a rough indication for the size of the jaw opening. You've got 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch, and 1 inch. So you can just adjust your jaws to that using that scale, and you're pretty much on the money for any size of bolt or nut that you're working on, or pipe, or whatever it may be. While the English one is more what's the word? Oh God, I've lost the plot again. Is more. Oh, why does this happen? Concerned with advertising their name and the fact that it's made in England. So don't like that much. There's a bit of progress here with a plaque. I've been making a plaque for a house for a number. This is the back side of it. I just give it a varnish to help keep the rain out, the weather out of it. This side's been varnished a couple of times and rubbed down with wire wool, so it's waiting its final coat. But before I give it a final coat, what my intention is to do a bit of carving in it, and then the numbers will be going on. Something along that sort of lines, just roughly. Now I'm not sure if I'm going to drill it and fix it to the wall with screws, or if I might just try using that no nails, because the Harlings will give a good grip, and no nails might be just good enough to stick onto the Harling. But there'll be a couple of little carvings in here before I'm done, I think, just to keep myself happy. Another bloody English one. Yeah. Anyway, so what else is there? Still waiting on the the epoxy to sort of repair the breakout on this mould. I've got to fill that in with some epoxy and fill this in here with some epoxy, and then sand it down a little bit, and then that will form the basis of a mould to make some new wheels out of HDPE plastic. Painting up a couple of little a garden latch here, and this is for her gate. We're needing something to hold the gate open when she's taking the wheelie bins out, because the wind catches it, and she's only little, so it's got when the wind gets it, it's a big gate, so it can really put her flying. A few other little bits and pieces. There was I cleaned this handle up and gave it a coat of what's we call it, linseed oil. It's just the handle of an old wallpaper scraper. I've got half a dozen of these things now. Every box of tools I get off of eBay seems to have one or two of them in it. This one's not in particularly good shape, and I certainly don't need it, but yeah, I'll do it up anyway. Give it a clean at least. I've still got the remnants of an old Stanley wooden plane in there. That's been a project. It's just a job I've been meaning to get at since a wee while now, but I've not gotten around to it yet. The mallet that I showed in the last video, I don't think it was actually damaged through impacts. I think it was actually a form of dry rot that was in the head of the mallet. So I've got it isolated in this plastic bag, but I'll keep it for now until I get the sizes of it, and then what I'm going to do is make a new head for the mallet out of HDPE. The shaft seems fine, so that's going to get sanded down and coated with linseed oil, and then I've got to make up a new pattern for making the head of the hammer, or the mallet rather. So yeah, I'm busy. Yeah, I'm just about at 20 minutes already, folks. This place is like a bomb site. I've got to get this tidied up before she gets home, otherwise I'll get lynched. And yeah, until next time, hope you're safe and well, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.